Okay, Algebra Whiz, you've just finished a full year of algebra, so you understand how to isolate variables and solve equations by adding and subtracting terms or multiplying and dividing factors from both sides of an equation. But what if I told you that there was an easier, faster way that will allow you to solve simple problems in your head? In fact, it's the way most people who are good at algebra think about it. Consider the simple equation a plus b equals c. Suppose I asked you to solve for a. You know that you can subtract b from both sides of this equation. Using this strategy, and armed with a piece of paper and a pencil, you'd figure out that a equals c minus b. Nice job! But now I'd like you to look at this website. Notice that there are algebra problems listed here, much like you might get for homework or a test on paper. The difference now is that these equations will respond to your mouse movements. Imagine you'll be able to solve algebra problems without dragging your pencil across a page. First, notice that when you move your mouse over the variables in the equations, the variables light up. You see some light up yellow and some light up green. Why different colors? And what do these colors mean? Well, the things that light up green are terms. A term is something that gets added to or subtracted from something else. The things that get lit up as yellow are factors. A factor is something that is multiplied against or divided into something else. So when I say term, think addition and subtraction. When I say factor, think multiplication and division. Now, let's go back to our equation a plus b equals c. Here, we're asked to solve for a. Notice that in this equation a is added to b, so a and b are both green terms. Now watch closely. Instead of subtracting b from both sides of the equation, I'm just going to click on the b and start to drag it around. Notice that when I do this, little green rectangles light up. These rectangles are targets for places to drop the b that I'm currently holding. Also, notice the black string hanging from the b that I've got a hold of. As I move the b around, the other end of the string magnetically attaches to the nearest target. When I release the mouse, the b will travel to the target at the end of the string. Also notice that when I drag the b to the right-hand side of the equation, the sign in front of the b changes. This is because if I were to move it to the right-hand side of the equation, I would be subtracting it from both sides of the equation. So we would need to have a minus sign in front of it, right? So where should I drop this b? Well, if I want to solve this equation for a, I want a all by itself on the left-hand side of the equation. So I'm going to drop the b on the right-hand side of the equation, leaving a there all by itself. Okay, we're done. We've solved it. Easy, huh? All we did is move the b to the other side of the equation and change its sign. Let's try the next one. Again, we're asked to solve for a, but this time a is divided by b instead of added to it. That means a and b are factors, so they light up as yellow. Now, we need to solve for a, which means that we want it all by itself on the left-hand side of the equation. To get it by itself, we're going to have to move b to the right-hand side of the equation. So we'll click on B and drag it over to the other side of the equation. Notice we have the same string arrangement that we had when we were moving the term around. But now, little black circles are targets for the factor that we are holding. Let's drop this B on the right-hand side of the equation. There. We've just solved this equation for A. Note that the solution is displayed with the directions that you would follow if you had solved this equation the way you learned in school, namely multiplying both sides of the equation by B. Let's try another one. Here, we're asked to solve for x. What would you do if you were solving this problem using a pencil and paper? Well, the first thing you'd probably do is subtract b from both sides of the equation. Okay, we know how to do that the easy way, just like we did in the first problem. We just move it to the other side of the equation. Now what would you do to solve for x? I hope you would divide both sides of the equation by m. Again, that's easy to do here by just dragging the m to the right-hand side of the equation. Hey, we're done. We've isolated x on the left-hand side of the equation to express it in terms of y, b, and m. Now that you understand the basics of moving variables to solve equations, take a little time to practice with the next few problems. You should keep playing with these equations until it begins to feel natural to pick up variables and drop them where you want them. Once you get the hang of this, we'll learn how to use this website to add and subtract like terms and to multiply and divide factors with identical bases.